Hey everybody, welcome to Extension Monthly. I'm Jennifer Davidson, the County Coordinator with Alabama Extension here in Russell County. We are located at 508 14th Street in downtown Phoenix City, and our phone number is 334-298-6845 if you ever need to catch us. I'm here today with my friend and regional agent, Gloria Marks. And she is going to talk to us about finances and saving and budgeting and all that super important stuff to keep us out of trouble. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for inviting me.
And tell me again, so you are a regional agent, so
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
housed out of
Geneva County.
Geneva County, which is
Yes.
way south of here.
Yeah, way south of here. If anyone know where Dothan is, west of Dothan. west of
Okay.
Dothan.
What's the big,
Yes.
what's the city, what's the county?
Geneva County, and Dothan is our urban area.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. So she covers 9 counties?
Well, I cover 8, but I'm stepping in or filling in, I should say, filling in for 2 other counties until they bring in replacements. So
Cool.
that's what I'm doing at the
So you
moment.
go around and you do classes on finances,
Finances,
and you did one here last fall that was on,
Estate planning. So we wear a lot of hats in the financial area. So estate planning, reality checks for youth. We're responsible for just credit programs. We have an array of different topics that we teach.
and you and I had kind of talked about maybe doing a program here in Russell County on, was it called air property?
Air property,
Something
yes.
like that?
Air property.
So if there's anybody who's interested in a program on air property, do feel free to give us a call and let us know if that's a need out there or not. And air
Yes.
property is when somebody has kind of lost track of who owns something.
The property, yes. Air property is pretty much when someone has left property to the whole family, to the heir of that property. Say a parent left the home or their just say their estate to all of their siblings. So we feel that by teaching, educating them on necessary steps that individuals need to take when they do have heir property. Because that heir property belongs to the whole family and not just one particular person. And a lot of times there could be issues that arise.
Yeah,
from
that sounds like that could lead to some trouble. So normally when you get when you get a little older, do you you make a will and you air things to certain people as opposed to just not making anything? And
Exactly.
Okay, and that's what's
exactly.
happening is sometimes people just don't make a will,
Exactly.
and then it just goes to everybody in the family.
Everyone in the family.
Okay, and so that's a class on trying to straighten all that out.
Exactly, it is. It can become an issue. Yes.
Very good, very good. Well, so this next month, is it April, is Financial Literacy Month?
Yes, it is.
Which I'm like, what is financial literacy? Knowing how to read finances?
Oh my gosh, knowing how to manage your finances. Knowing how to there's so many people out there that do not know how to manage their finances, and they come into really big issues as far as trying to seek out help and not managing, knowing what's coming in and what's going out. And you have to know what's coming into your household, what stream of income is coming into your household, and looking at the expenses that are going out. If you do not keep track of those expenses, that can lead you into problems later on in life.
So the first tip, I guess, what you're saying is keep track of how much money you make.
How much money you make.
But what if you make different amounts? How do you budget that? That sounds complicated.
Well, you have different streams of income that's coming in. You have to keep track. You have to take note. You have to. I always tell my participants, you have to get a notebook or use a calendar. That's what we use as our tool to guide us through the month in extension. And my first tip would be to write all the stream of income that's coming into your home, the expenses that are also going out of your household. And my thing is looking at the fixed expense. You know that cost is not going to change at all throughout the month. You know that rent is going to be the same every month. You know that car note is going to be the same every month. Your insurance is going to be the same. So you write all those fixed expenses down. Look at your fixed expenses. That's my tip for someone. Look at your fixed expenses that you can save on, and maybe you might be able to save on your flexible expenses. You have your flexible expenses with groceries.
So what are flexible expenses?
Well, your flexible expenses are your grocery, say clothing, your personal family items that you might purchase for your family, fuel.
Going out to eat?
Going out to eat.
That's one that gets us.
Grocery, going out to eat. And a lot of times we do not factor in grocery or eating out with groceries. We do not. And then when I do programs, they're always saying, I spend this amount of money on my groceries, but they never factor in the eating out portion.
That's the thing that gets us in our household.
Yes, especially when you have children.
When you have a lot of, when
Yes.
we have a family of 5, and I can cook so inexpensively.
Yes.
But when we go out to eat, boy, it gets
that
us.
can add
Yeah.
can add up. And so you can find
But I'm
ways-
tired a lot of times. Let me just throw that out there. I'm tired at night. That might be a fixed expense for us.
Exactly. But then you might need to boost up your vitamin B. So my thing, in order to be able to save, and that's the direction that you're trying to go in. You know,
Gotcha.
looking at those the flexible expenses are the ones that really get us sometimes, and we have habits sometimes that we do not even know that we have, and it's hard to break as far as expenses. We have our periodic expenses. Things that we might spend on monthly or yearly. You know, say
Car
tags, say your driver's license. Driver's license every 3 years, I guess. But taxes.
Do you have to pay for a driver's license? Is that how it happens?
Oh yeah, but that's every 3 years.
Oh, okay.
3 years.
Okay.
3 years. I went a little
For us, we have children in after school care. So used to be daycare was a monthly expense,
Yes,
but now after
that's
school
a fix.
care,
It's a fix.
well, and now we do it, try to do it kind of in bulk, like for
bulk?
6 months payment.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
kind of an expense that just comes up once every now and again, but we have to plan for
Okay,
it.
so it's a periodic, and you do have to have a plan for it. Even seasonal expenses. A lot of times we do not plan for seasonal expenses. You know, Easter's coming up. I know it's a lot of people that are, you know, in the churches and they are religious and they want to, you know, participate in Easter, and they have not. And a lot of they buy the kids nice outfits and themselves. And they have not planned for this. This
I
is
hear
something
you.
where they have to go into their pockets and take money out that they did not plan for. And so this is a good opportunity. And I like with financial literacy, you know, having a plan set for your family and you and your family, and to share with your family which direction you want to go in as far as you know, your spending and all that.
So communication, especially
Communication.
between family members.
Exactly.
Yeah, between me and my children. We're not buying that.
Exactly. And finding ways to budget. You know, budget. Look at the money that's coming into your household. Looking at the expenses that are going out. Track your spending, and that's a lot of times we do not track our spendings throughout the month as individuals, and we find ourselves in a deficit. A lot of us do. And so I think with financial literacy being in place, I think it helps to enlighten a lot of people, a lot of individuals on what they need to do as far as getting financially stable, and looking at their income and how they could stretch it, or what they need to do to reduce their spending.
So making a budget, communicating, and setting some goals sounds like those are kind of some three major things.
So especially if you're trying to reach a financial goal, you have to you have to have a budget. You have to have a budget. And you can, you know, just start as small when it comes to setting the goal. Start as small as, you know, start on a small goal. If you want to buy, say, that big screen TV, and you can only save $50 a month, then guess what? There you go. You have to you got to have a time on it. I always tell my participants, you have to make SMART goals, and you have to be specific about those goals. Make sure those goals are measurable. Make sure they're attainable. Be realistic about that goal. Make sure that goal is timeable. So with making that small goal that I was just trying to demonstrate to you, making that small goal, you have $50. How long does it take you to build up six payments? 6 months. If you can only save $50 a month. And I always say, hey, how long is it going to take you to be at $300 in order to purchase that big screen TV that you might desire? So I have a lot of participants. Okay, I divided it up. It's that, 6 months. And so you have to put a time on it. And like you were sharing with me earlier that you wanted to go on that vacation, I'm pretty sure it just didn't come to your head, say, hey, I'm taking the kids to DC. Hey, you have to plan for it, right?
Right,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what I have to tell, when I'm out talking to my participants, the people that I do meet with on a regular basis, that when it comes down to finances and you're trying to set a financial goal for yourself, you have to have a plan in motion. And we always give them our little handy tool here. What the extension uses is very popular tool in extension. I know just a few months ago you were calling me, hey, Gloria, get me some calendars. I come down to get them because people are beating down the doors for them. Because this is a tool that we use in extension to give our participants, and it's a very helpful tool, very beneficial. Teaches families how to maintain a budget. It has charts in here, and based on what I was just sharing with you about different types of expenses, it teaches the family about the flexible expenses, of the fixed expenses and the flexible expenses. Teach them how to set goals. We have short-term goals here. We have intermediate goals, and we also have long-term goals that they might want to reach. Some of them might want to purchase a home in the future. So, you know, that will be a long-term goal, you know. And it just helps them keep track. I always tell my participants, this is just not only for doctor's appointments, okay? Write your doctor's appointments. You can also write down dates that you receive bills, dates that those bills go out. Things like that help you keep you on track of your finances. But your money, the finances that is going out, I paid this bill, how much do I have left over? If I should have any left over, what should I do with that? So it comes down to decision making. If you're trying to reach a goal, it comes down to decision making, okay? And that decision, whether I'm going to, if I have a surplus, what am I going to do with that? Can I save it, or do I make other purchases? That sometimes we have to look at too, when we're trying to reach a financial goal, is looking at our needs and our wants versus our wants.
And I'm going to stop you right there. Okay. We're going to take a quick break because we're going to continue talking about those needs and wants in just a moment. Thank you so much for watching Extension Monthly. We'll be right back.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Every day is so wonderful, and suddenly it's hard to breathe.
Would it be okay if I sat here?
Is she serious? Whatever. New girl.
Single way, these words can't bring me down.
Reaching out. Pass it on.
So don't you bring me
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Hey, welcome back to Extension Monthly. I'm Jennifer Davidson, the County Coordinator here with Russell County Extension, and I'm here with Gloria Marks, who is our regional agent that covers financial literacy for about 9 to 11 counties at any given time. So she travels around preaching the word of saving money and budgeting and doing all the right things.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And where we left off last time was we started to talk about the difference between needs and wants, which is something we started off teaching our children about when they were very, very young. But I think some of us have kind of gotten confused about that sometimes.
And sometimes we do. And sometimes we're going to allow our wants to overtake our needs. And I've seen that in a lot of cases. And I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes myself. As an individual person, but looking at your needs versus want. Hey, I want to escalate, but then again, I only have have X amount of dollars that I can't afford. I can't afford that escalate. So I have to get me what I know that I can afford, and instead of getting what I want, I have to get what I need. So we do kind of like play a big part in. Hey, I did a nutrition program before, and you know what, Jennifer, I think about, hey, I'm suffering with a chronic illness and such as diabetes, but then again, I want that donut, and I know I do not need it. I want it. So yeah, talking to people, your families, and in the programs that I do, we're teaching individuals to look and to make the best, try to make the best decision for your families, and getting the things that they need, planning for the things that they want.
Oh, that's a good idea. Getting the things you need, plan for what you want. That's a good. That's a good way to put it. All right. So, what were some other tips that we were talking about beforehand? We were saying. Make a budget. Set some goals. Communicate within your family.
Communicate with your family. Yeah, and that's one thing we have a really big problem with, communicating with our spouses and our children in the direction that we want to go in, and especially with financial goal settings. You know, we have our children coming at us, mommy, I need this, I want this, you know, and two, you know, just having, even just with the spouse, communicating with your spouse could be the hardest thing, could be really tough for some family members. I come in contact with a lot of people who say, hey, he's going this direction, I spend frugally, he spends frivolously. So, you know, getting in contact with it and communicating, it's just like, you know, we got it. You listen, talk to that person, and try to get the best communication out of him you possibly can, you know, and getting him to compromise if he's the big spender, or, you know, think about yourself, which direction you want to go in financially, if you that person that is spending previously. But, you know, just, I really tell you, I can just tell you, when it comes to giving tips on financial literacy, I can't tell anyone no more than just, hey, look and see how much money that's coming into your household. Look at the expenses going out. Making sure that if you see yourself going into a deficit, then it might be a few things that you can do. You know, you might have to get a second job. You know, you might have to probably, hey, look at the junk that you have in the trunk. And you know, and because, you know, the old saying says one man's junk is another man's treasure. So look at some of those things. I know people that make, you know, go on eBay, sell some of those items that they did not want, that they felt was junk, and they made money off those items. Shop for sales. Shop, you know, shop with coupons. You know, things like that can bring a surplus into your home. You know, there's just different things that you can do. You know, sometimes you have to pull a rabbit out the hat. Think about some of the gifts that you might do, you know, that you can do. Instead of making big purchases for gifts, hey, take an art class, or, you know, try some way of being creative where you don't have to spend money that you do not have.
That's such a good idea.
Yes.
Growing up, I had an aunt who always made Christmas presents for us, and you know, she used pictures and things, and you know, I've probably got a million presents growing up, but I remember the ones that she made, and I still have. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Exactly, you know.
And going back, you mentioned, so sometimes you get in a little bit over your head, and so I wanted to ask you credit cards. Talk about credit cards for a minute.
I think credit cards, when people, you know, you're saying going over your head, I wouldn't use a credit card if I know I'm already in a deficit. You know, if you already know that you can't afford it, you can't pay your bills, they are for emergencies. You can only use, I feel that we all need a credit card, but only use that credit card for an emergency. But also knowing that the fact that you will be able to pay that credit card off. So I know some of us do, you know, we don't have the money, the money that we can barely pay our bills. Now, I would not say go out and get a credit card. You can barely pay your bills, because that credit card can get you in trouble. But two, and when you're searching for credit cards, making sure that when you do your research for a credit card, making sure that you do your research as far as looking at the interest rates that come with that credit card. Look at the fees that comes with that credit card.
Don't they come with like yearly fees sometimes?
Some
that sort of thing?
Cards do. Some credit cards do. So that's why I was saying, do your research when it comes to purchasing or not purchasing a credit card. But then again, some people do. But if you find yourself where your credit is not at such a good standard, as far as trying to achieve a credit card, then
so if you have a credit card debt, what are some things you could do to sort of get yourself out of that mess?
Well, if you're in credit card debt, all I can say is try to talk with that lender of that card, try to negotiate with them and seeing that can you make minimum payments. on that credit card in order to get that credit card.
But if you do minimal payments, I looked at one time and it was like, you know, you'd be 150 years old by the time you paid those things off.
But if that person is already in a deficit or in trouble credit card debt, then he will have to speak with that lender and seeing how whoever issued that card, he'll have to speak with them in order to get an agreement with him and seeing what he needs to do in order to get out from under that particular debt.
So you can communicate with the credit card companies.
Yes.
Can you negotiate rates like that?
No, you cannot negotiate rates.
Okay.
No, you cannot. But what a question I probably got a misunderstanding about your question. You were when you mentioned that if you find yourself in trouble with credit card debt, if you find yourself in trouble with credit card debt, then only advice that I can give is that you put that credit card on freeze. See how you're going to be able to pay that credit card off. Try to get that with that credit card company to that whoever issued that card to see what they will negotiate with you and making a payment plan for that particular credit card, if that's the question that you were asking.
Okay, so here's my other question. I know every time I go into a store, they say, if you open a credit card today, I'm going to give you 10% off or 20% off what you, and I always say, no, I don't want to do that. But what are your thoughts on those sort of in-store cards?
I would say, no, that's a negative. I like, no, thank you. Because with, accumulating a lot of credit card debt, that is not going to make your credit any better. That there can bring your credit card down if you're getting a lot of inquiries. And you're getting store credit cards, things like that. You have to think about the interest rates that come with those store credit cards. So I would not suggest that.
So it really might not be that 10%. It's not worth that 10%
it's not
usually.
worth that 10%.
Okay.
It's not worth that 10%. So, but them trying to get you to buy into their,
Sure.
credit cards, no, I would not do that. One major credit card maybe, and with the lower interest rate, I think that would be more beneficial than just going out and getting store cards.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing this.
Well, thank you.
And so is there any big program or anything that's going on for the National Financial Literacy Month?
Oh, gracious. We've been asked to go into the schools to get some of the students to get some of the teachers to get the students involved, and as far as teaching them terms, financial terms, giving them quotes, financial quotes throughout the month of April. But I'm also been asked to come to different sites to teach on financial literacy, and teaching people to save. A lot of people, with the economy being the way that it is today, they do not take it into consideration that saving is so important.
It really is.
You never know when emergencies are going to occur, and having money on hand just in case if you cannot get the assistance from some of the resources that you might have out and within your county, your family members and things like that. So by saving, this here will also, would deter that.
Yeah, keep you out of trouble.
Keep you out of trouble.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you coming so far.
Well, thank you, Miss Jennifer.
And we thank y'all for watching. But before we go, I did have a couple of announcements. We've got some programs coming up here in our Russell County Extension office. On May the 14th, we have a program called What's Bugging You, and we're going to talk about sort of our top insect friends that we meet, both that bother our humans as well as our plants as well as our animals, and that's here at the Russell County Extension office. And then also we are going to plan to have a fall Master Gardener program. So would you like to be a master? The program starts in September, and we're taking applications as we speak at the moment. It costs $175, and have you ever heard, about the Master Gardener program, right? So it's super fun. It's super fun. So we start with the basics. We go from like plant botany and physiology. Then we teach classes on herbs and veggies and turf and trees. So we do a lot of field trips here in Russell County, and then once you take the class, you're an extension volunteer, and you're able to go out into the community and do volunteer work, do good works on behalf of Alabama Cooperative Extension here in Russell County. So if you're interested in that, please give us a call at the office. Our number is 334-298-6845. Again, I'm Jennifer Davidson, and again, thank you, Gloria, for being here with us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.